Good evening. Welcome to the Masterclass. Some of you may have noticed that we have improved the branding or evolved or improved. I can't say, I shouldn't say improved because that's being selfish. But we have rebranded the Masterclass. And the good part about the rebranded Masterclasses, it purely syncs with what we do with a program called Youth Engaging Society. I don't know if you people realize that we had a major program called Youth Engaging Society. So Gurdeep will share another tab on her computer. She'll type schooleducation.com and click on Masterclass. So please add the tab to your screen, schooleducation.com. You will see the program menu has changed. In our programs, you'll see more programs today. Good evening, Vasundhara. How are you? So happy to meet you finally.
Good evening, sir. Thank you so much. Same here, sir.
Lovely to see you here. We have with us Shalini, we have Gurdeep. We all do this master class together. So we're all masters here. And I wonder where the class is sometimes because sare master yahan aa gaye. So Gurdeep, just click on our programs, the drop down menu from top, the second tab. Below the Good School Alliance logo, it says our programs. Yeah, the drop down menu. See this. My Good School is on Sunday. The Teachers Academy is the Teachers Academy. There's a separate tab for Masterclass. Click that. Yeah, now scroll. So what I thought that what you're really doing with this book has been my life. This conversation as a philosopher with young people. And for me, young people have been teachers. Please say no thanks to this bot. Yeah. And if you scroll down, so what we are really saying, building schools where youth engage society. The conversation so far in this book is exactly this. The youth is having a conversation and youth is part of the school. The philosopher is telling him what needs to be done, what the school does and what the teacher does, where the successes lie, where the failures lie. If we can help teachers work with such rationality, I'm sure they will develop identity, empathy, and leadership. So this is the page we created. If you go down, we added a little bit of a zing to it. Masterclass with Sandeep, that we added this little logo which we set up. So this is how we'll brand it. And if you have experience in your WhatsApp, it's kind of, it looks different today. So that's all I wanted to mention. Can you please share the book now? You can be happy now. I will read both parts. I will give a different tone. Youth, the courage to be happy. Well, let's hear what kind of courage that should be. Yes, that is an important point. You say that all problems are interpersonal relationship problems, and then you want that around and say that our happiness is to be found in our interpersonal relations too. But I still find these aspects hard to accept. Is what human beings call happiness merely something within our good interpersonal relationships? That's to say, do our lives exist for such minuscule repose and joy? I have a good idea of the issues you are grappling with. The first time I attended a lecture on Adlerian psychology, the lecturer, Oscar Christensen, who was a disciple of one of Adler's disciples, made the following statement. Those who hear my talk today can be happy right now, this very instant. But those who do not will never be able to be happy. Wow, that's straight from the mouth of a con man. You're not telling me You fell for that, are you? What is happiness to human beings? This is a subject that has been one of the consistent threads of philosophy, science, since ancient times. I had always regarded psychology as nothing more than a field of philosophy, and as such had very little interest in psychology as a whole. So, it was a student of philosophy that I had concerned myself in my own way with the question, what is happiness? I will be remiss if I did not admit to having felt some reluctance on hearing Christensen's words. However, at the same time that I experienced that reluctance, I realized something. I had given much deep thought to the true character of happiness. I had searched for answers, but I had not always given deep thought to the question, how can one be happy? It occurred to me then that even though I am a student of philosophy, maybe I wasn't happy. Youth. I see. Your first encounter with Adlerian psychology began with a feeling of incongruity. Philosopher. That's right. Youth. Then please tell me, did you eventually become happy? Of course. How can you be so sure? For a human being, the greatest unhappiness is not being able to like oneself. This is important pause here. For a human being, the greatest unhappiness is not being able to like oneself. I think this is a very important part. And so often we are aspirational, we have perceptions, we look into the mirror and ask this question, mirror, mirror, who is the most beautiful of all? And the mirror always says you. But unfortunate part is that if you, the other day, Kunal sent me a little rap, a song by Sultan, and it says, don't read beauty magazines. I don't have to say anything more than that because the beauty magazines sell a fake world to you. And I thought of this that is the reason of unhappiness because when you see a beauty magazine, it makes you unhappy, it doesn't make you happy. So, for an important part for a human is that unhappiness has to be able to like yourself, love yourself the way you are. You were made, you are unique, you are special. No two people are everyone is a beautiful machine, as God, I would say. Every individual is a unique beauty, it's a unique character. Every living and non-living being, whether it's a thing or it's an it or it's a they, it's in that, has a character and is there for a purpose. Never forget that. So let's carry on from this digression. Adler came up with an extremely simple answer to address this reality, namely, what the feeling of I am beneficial to the community or I am of use to someone is the only thing that can give you a true awareness that one has self-worth. I've used the word self. This is what a teacher's life is. Do you mean the contribution to others you mentioned earlier? Yes. And this is an important point. When we speak of contribution to others, it doesn't matter if the contribution is not a visible one. It does not matter if the contribution is not a visible one. It doesn't matter if the contribution is not a visible one. You are not the one who decides if your contributions are of use. That is the task of other people. And it is not an issue in which you can intervene. In principle, there is not even any way you can know whether you have really made a contribution. That is to say, when we are engaging in this contribution to others, the contribution does not have to be a visible one. All we need is a subjective sense that I am of use to someone, or in other words, a feeling of contribution. I'm going to take a pause and first thank Vasundhara Rishi for her contribution and for taking the initiative to walk into this class. So Vasundhara has so kindly joined us, and she is from Sunbeam, yes, and Mughal Sarai too. So Vasundhara, thank you so much. And I'm sure we are feeling your contributions as you will feel ours when we meet. Would you like to say a word before I read on?
Please continue. Thank you so much.
God bless you. So youth says, wait a minute. If that's the case, then what you are calling happiness is, do you see it now? In a word, happiness is the feeling of contribution. That is the definition of happiness. But that's is something wrong? There's no way I can accept such a simplistic definition. Look, I'm not forgetting what you told me before. You said, though on the level of acts, one might not be of use to anyone. On the level of being, every person is of use. But if that's the case, according to your logic, all human beings would be happy. All human beings can be happy. But it must be understood. This does not mean all human beings are happy, whether it is on the level of acts or on the level of being. One needs to feel that one is of use to someone. That's to say, one needs to feeling of contribution. So this joy of giving we keep talking about every time. And I think this is the crucial part where you feel that your contribution is going. It's your feeling. It actually may not reach the other person, remember that. But because it is going from you, you are getting a feeling of contributing. You are coming here to take out time, you're contributing. So you are saying, I'm giving my time for a cause. Now, cause could be to empower you, or cause could be to be with the group and make the group stronger. It could be either way. So, both ways, it is a contribution. So, you are saying that the reason I'm not happy is that I don't have a feeling of contribution. That is correct. Then, how can I get a feeling of contribution? By working through some volunteer activities. Earlier, we were talking about desire for recognition. In response to my statement that one must not seek recognition, you said the desire for recognition is a universal desire. Yes, I did. But honestly, I'm still not entirely certain about this point. But I'm sure that the reason people seek recognition is clear to you now. People want to like themselves, they want to feel that they have worth. In order to feel that, they want a feeling of contribution that tells them, I am of use to someone. And they seek recognition from others as an easy means for gaining the feeling of contribution. You are saying that desire for recognition is a meaning for gaining a feeling of contribution? Isn't it so? No way. That contradicts everything you have been saying until now. Because isn't receiving recognition from others supposed to be a means of gaining a feeling of contribution? And then you say happiness is the feeling of contribution? If it is, then fulfilling one's desire for recognition is directly linked with happiness, isn't it? Haha. At last, you've acknowledged the necessity of the desire for recognition. You are forgetting an important issue. If one's means for gaining a feeling of contribution turns out to be being recognized by others, in the long run, one will have no choice but to walk through life in accordance with other people's wishes. There is no freedom in feeling of contribution that is gained through the desire for recognition. We are beings who choose freedom while aspiring to happiness. So, one can have happiness only if one has freedom. Yes, freedom as an institution may differ depending on the country, the times, or the culture, but freedom on an interpersonal relationship is universal. There is no way that you will acknowledge the desire for recognition. Philosopher. If one really has a feeling of contribution, one will no longer have any need for recognition from others, because one will already have the real awareness that I am of use to someone without needing to go out of the way, one's way to acknowledge by others. In other words, a person who is obsessed with the desire for recognition does not have any community feeling yet and has not managed to engage in self acceptance, confidence in others, or contribution to others. So, if one just has community feeling, the desire for recognition will disappear. Yes, it will disappear. There is no need for recognition from others. Reflect here to your family. And so often, there is no recognition in the family for what we do home or what we do together. But we are a family. And we do for being a family, as simple as that. And what you do personally gives you a sense of contribution. You may have helped your mom do odd errands or some chores. That itself may be your contribution. You're giving your time, you're putting your energy, and that should give you a sense of giving. So the main highlight or the reflection point is the philosopher's points could be summed up as follows. People can only be truly aware of their worth when they are able to feel I am of use to someone. However, it doesn't matter if the contribution one makes at such a time is without any visible form. It is enough to have the subjective sense of being of use to someone, that's to say, a feeling of contribution. And then the philosopher arrives at the following conclusion: happiness is the feeling of contribution. Happiness is the feeling of contribution. There certainly seem to be aspects of truth there, but is that really all that happiness is? Not if it's the happiness I'm searching for. So, Shalini, are you searching for happiness still?
At times, sir.
They contribute more. That's my
Yes.
answer to that.
Yes.
So, Sandra, how do you feel after this little chapter? What is your reflection? Does contribution count happiness? How do you find your freedom?
Sir, I'll take little time to think on this because whatever was there in the chapter, we are able to relate it because the word which was, you know, prominently coming in my mind is recognition.
Yes.
So, basically, if you see, we all rely on others' recognition
Yes.
rather than understanding what is our strength and what we are doing. So, it's a wonderful, chapter, sir, and really need to think about it.
Lovely.
And
So I suggest please think and write a few lines and send us.
sure, sir, sure,
You can
definitely.
you can just post them in WhatsApp only. It's a very small group. So
Sure,
my group is never more than 20, 15, 20 when we work in a master class. Or you can email us. So when you email us, we can add it to our reflection in the newsletter.
sure, sir.
So email us. You have my email. I'm sure you can send an email to me. I'll personally ask the editors to put it in the content of the weekly if you have a reflection. So do share your reflections with us. We'll be happy to add them in the weekly. We'll be happy to add them in the blog. I
Sure, sir,
think this sense of belonging comes to us when we feel we have contributed. And this is the crucial part of learning. Learning itself is a sense of belonging. So do think about these points, think about happiness, think about freedom, think about contribution, think about belonging, think about not reading beauty magazines and appreciating yourself. So
Sir,
I
I
again,
have to contribute my reflection for the last session, sir. I was
yeah,
supposed to share my reflection today.
you have it ready. You want to do that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it's ready with me.
Lovely. So we'll take a pause and we'll do a replay of the last session. Ready, Shalini?
So can I read out or should I post it in the chat?
You can read out.
Okay. So in the last session, sir, what I was saying, there were 3 takeaways for me. So at times we often end up giving more mental space to those who dislike us. There was an example about 10 people. So based
Yes.
on that, this is one of my key takeaways. Instead of appreciating the people who actually value us. Second was Adler's idea of inclusive community, seeing
Yes.
others through their strengths rather than fixating on their flaws. So this was in connection to the person who used to stammer during the reading sessions. And lastly was to give excuse that I do not have time to finish my work. But the best managers are those who are able to finish all their tasks within the stipulated time frame. So these are
So
my three key takeaways from the last.
elementary, my dear Watson. Very elementary, very simply put. So all we need to take away from last week is remember, if 10 people are there, where are you looking for recognition? Second, the beautiful example was the stammer one, how they just didn't let him feel he was stammering, but accepting the whole idea of diversity, inclusion, belonging. That's the beauty of that example. So thank you for the highlights. If you feel like emailing them, please do. We'll be happy to add them still.
Sure, sir, I'll do that today.
We'll always add them in the same last week's blog. We'll put it below that. So every week we'll create one blog. You can send us even week later. We'll post it in the same blog, edit it and put below that. No point making small blogs ahead.
Sure, sir.
Concentrate on building one blog per week, and what everyone sends, 1 line, 2 line, you can send us a voice message also. We'll transcribe it. We'll add all that in that week's focus or that week's reflection. So we are doing justice to reading, reflection, and relationships. Please flip the page, Gurdeep. Two paths traveled by those wanting to be special beings. You still have not answered my question. Maybe I could actually learn to like myself through contribution to others. Maybe I could come to feel that I have worth, that I'm not a worthless being. But is that all a person needs to be happy? Having come to this world, I think that unless I'm able to accomplish the sort of grand undertaking that future generations will remember me, unless I can prove myself as I, who am no one else but me, I will never find true happiness. You are trying to frame everything within interpersonal relationships without saying a thing about self-realizing happiness. If you ask me, that's nothing but evasion. It's not really sure that you mean by self-realizing happiness. What exactly are you referring to? It's something that is different for each person. I suppose there are those who want to succeed in society and those who have more personal objectives, a researcher endeavoring to develop a wonder drug, for instance, an artist who tries to create a satisfying body of work. What is it for you? I still don't really know what I am looking for or what I want to do in the future, but I know that I've got to do something. There's no way I'm going to spend the rest of my days working in a university library. When I find a dream that I can devote my life to and I attain self realization, that's when I experience true happiness. My father was someone who buried himself in his work from day to night, and I have no idea if that was happiness to him or not. To my eyes, at least, he seemed forever busy and never happy. That is not the kind of life I want to lead. So, this is a very interesting youth perspective, and you will see this in today's youth. A lot of the youth today would not like to do their father's profession. It's not just business. A doctor's son doesn't want to become a doctor. A lawyer's son doesn't want to become a lawyer because they have seen their dads have been slogging day and night, not realizing in every profession you have to slog. That's the exciting part of it. You may decide not to follow the profession which your family is doing, but you'll end up in a profession you'll be doing the same thing, which is the catch 22 of life. So this is a very interesting reflection point. All right. If you think about this point, using children who engage in problem behavior as an example, it might be easier to grasp. Problem behavior? That's right. First of all, we human beings have a universal desire that is referred to as pursuit of superiority. Do you recall a discussion of this? I'll pause here. This superiority, when you talk about horizontal learning, you remember when we were talking about superiority and horizontal learning. So just refer to horizontal learning and you'll understand this pursuit of superiority doesn't really get you anywhere. Yes, simply put, it's a term that indicates hoping to improve and pursuing an ideal state. There are many children who, in their early stages, try to be especially good. In particular, they obey their parents, comport themselves in a socially acceptable manner, and apply themselves assiduously to their studies and in sport, and excel in extracurricular activities as well. In this way, they try to get their parents to acknowledge them. However, when being especially good does not work out, their studies or sports don't go well, for example, they do an about face and try to be especially bad. I'm sure you will find this in your schools. An interesting word I found in this paragraph was comport. So from portability, port in, good word, comport. So there's communication and there's port. So comport, interesting word I discovered here. Why do they do that? Whether they are trying to be especially good or trying to be especially bad, the goal is the same: to attract attention of other people. Get out of the normal condition and become a special being. That is their only goal. You see that in your classroom every day. All right, please go on. In any case, whether it is one's studies or one's participation in sports, either way, one needs to make constant effort if one is to produce any kind of significant results. But the children who try to be especially bad, that is to say, the ones who engage in problem behavior, are endeavoring to attract the attention of other people, even as they continue to avoid any such healthy effort. In Adlerian psychology, this is referred to as the pursuit of easy superiority. Take, for example, the problem child who disrupts lessons by throwing erasers or speaking in a loud voice. He is certain to get the attention of his friends and teachers. Even if it is something that is limited to that place, he'll probably succeed in becoming a special being. But that is a pursuit of easy superiority and is an unhealthy attitude. So, children who commit delinquent acts are engaging in the pursuit of easy superiority too. Yes, they are. All types of problem behavior, from refusing to attend school to wrist cutting to underage drinking and smoking and so on, are forms of the pursuit of easy superiority. And your shut in friend, who you told me about at the beginning, is engaging in it too. When a child engages in problem behavior, his parents and other adults rebuke him. Being rebuked, more than anything else, puts stress on the child. But even if it is in the form of rebuke, the child wants his parents' attention. He wants to be a special being, and the form that attention takes doesn't matter. So, in a sense, it is only natural that he does not stop engaging in problem behavior, and no matter how harshly he is rebuked. It's because of their rebuking that he doesn't stop the problem behavior. Exactly. Because of the parents and other adults are giving them attention through the act of rebuking. But previously you spoke of the goal of problem behavior as being revenge on the parents, right? Does that connect with this in some way? Yes, revenge and pursuit of easy superiority are easily linked. One makes trouble for another while trying at the same time to be special. How interesting. You are trying to be special either way. Anyone wants to share anything? Gurdeep, I'm sure you see this every day in your classroom.
Yes, sir, every day. I think everyone wants to seek recognition and validation either from their peer group or teachers. Now we have given a scientific name to that, that is ADHD syndrome. हम सबको यही कह देते हैं, oh, it's ADHD syndrome, but actually they are seeking recognition and they are just conveying one message that I matter, like we matter. That's the only thing that they want to convey.
And it's very unfortunate that we've had to coin them in a particular class.
Yes.
If you look at it, every child is special and there are no special children.
Yeah.
Look at the statement I've made. And that's why for a teacher to ensure that every child feels special is a tough task.
Some
And
of
this,
them are, sorry to intervene, some of them are very hyperactive, very hyperactive. Some of them
yeah,
are quiet. Like you deal with all kinds of students in a class of, say, 30, and each and every child is unique, every child.
so two things that have changed in the last few years. One, the families have shrunk. So most children come single or two in a family, two siblings. So as a result, they can get away with everything.
Yes.
So if like my father had 9 siblings, my mother had 5. So there was enough of a balancing act before you went out of home. Now that balancing act is not there here. That the parents being both working, they go about providing everything for the child. So the child will get aggressive as they go along. And child very intelligent. I have often mentioned this 3 month, 4 month, 6 month child. The child knows when to grab the mom and do whatever the guy feels like or the girl feels like. They're very demanding. The biggest bully is a child below 6 months of age. The child will shout, the child will howl, the child make sure you give the child the attention. So that's like a revenge act. मेरी नहीं सुनोगे देखो मैं सबको हिला दूंगी सबको हिला दूंगा. So and if you see today, go on a flight, go on a train, the children start wailing and I'm seeing it more and more in flights. Little children wail so much.
Yeah.
Yes, it's got to do with the atmosphere or whatever. But this wailing is increasing over the years. They want to be heard, they want the attention. And this syndrome which you're mentioning is perhaps there benignly in all of us.
Yes.
I says there benignly in all of us. Lovely. Should we go on to another chapter? I think we can do one more. We have time.
So I would like to add one more thing here. I think it is most of the times it is the parents of these children or the students who need to be counseled more than the children are.
Yes, brilliant. I mean, I think that's the crucial point. So I think we should get parents to read here, but I'm sure all of us are parents.
Yes. And another thing is why children tend to seek attention is because at times they are not able to fulfill the expectations of their parents.
Yeah.
So that is the other reason that they behave in a negative manner.
We'll ask the young people here. We'll ask Harshita here. Harshita, how do you attract attention?
I never. I'm sorry, sir. My throat is bad, but then
Sorry, my throat is really bad. It sounds like yours and yours sounds like mine.
I was not a child who wanted to seek attention. I was someone who was always in the corner, trying to, grasp everything that the teacher is saying and score good marks and all. So I don't know, but I think people do generally do that because they are seeking some sort of validation.
I would say even the intelligent ones, they also seek recognition and validation from the teachers, even the
Yes.
top score.
But what I feel is that the system is designed that ways only. Even in
Yeah,
school or in college, we were like, we always have this topper of the class, first in the class, second in the class, and then who is in the front row in the dancing annual function dance. And when we go into job, there also appraisals, which in turn is performing better, who is getting better promotion. So it's everywhere. So you are like somehow you are pushed to become like that. That is what I feel.
System is like this.
Yes.
So in
yeah, yeah.
past, it used to be like the silent workers were automatically noticed by their seniors, but nowadays it is the people have to market themselves to be noticed.
Yeah, that's. I mean, you have individual brand building. That's what this world is about, and that's how the media packages it. And with social media, it's become even better today. It's so easy to build your brand.
I like that what we used to listen in when we were young, like the survival of the fittest. So that is how the world runs. So and naturally people become that ways. That's what I feel.
Thank you so much. Let's read one more chapter. We have about 10-15 minutes. Flip across, please. Flip around. The courage to be normal. But how? It would be impossible for a human beings to be especially good or anything like that, won't it? No matter what, people have their strengths and weaknesses, and there will always be differences. There's only a handful of geniuses in the world, and not everyone is cut out to be an honor student. So, for all the losers, there's definitely nothing for it besides being specially bad. Yes, it's the Socratic paradox that no one desires evil because to children who engage in problem behavior, even violent acts and theft are accomplishments of good. But that's horrible. That's a line of reasoning with no way out. What Adlerian psychology emphasizes at this juncture are the words, the courage to be normal. So, this is the antithesis of your ADH syndrome. The courage to be normal. The courage to be normal? Why is it necessary to be special? Probably because one cannot accept one's normal self. And it is precisely for this reason that one being specially good becomes a lost cause. One makes the huge leap to being specially bad, the opposite extreme. But is being normal, being ordinary, really such a bad thing? Is it something inferior? Or in truth, isn't everybody normal? It is necessary to think this, though, to its logical conclusion. So you're saying that I should be normal. Self acceptance is the vital first step. If you are able to possess the courage to be normal, your way of looking at the world will change dramatically. How beautiful. If you are able to possess the courage to be normal, your way of looking at the world will change dramatically. And this is why we say that world will not change, you have to adapt or you have to change. But you are probably rejecting normality because you equate being normal with being incapable. Being normal is not being incapable. One does not need to flaunt one's superiority. Fine, I acknowledge the danger of being aiming to be special. But does not one really need to make the deliberate choice to be normal? If I pass my time in this world in an entirely humdrum way, if I lead a pointless life without having any record or memory of my existence whatsoever, am I to just be satisfied with my lot because that's the sort of human being I am? You've got to be joking. I'd abandon such a life in a second. You ought to be special no matter what. No. Look, accepting what you call normal would lead to me having to affirm my idle self. It would just be saying, this is all I'm capable of, and that's fine. Sorry, I refuse to accept such a idle way of life. Do you think that Napoleon or Alexander the Great or Einstein or Martin Luther King accepted normal? And now about Socrates and Plato? Not a chance. More than liking, they all lived their lives while carrying on the torch of a great ideal or objective. Another Napoleon could never emerge with your line of reasoning. You're trying to rid the world of geniuses. So, what you're saying is that one needs lofty goals in life, but that's obvious. The courage to be normal. What truly dreadful words. Are Adler and his philosopher really telling me to choose such a path? To go about my life as just another soul among the utterly ordinary, faceless masses? I'm no genius, of course. Maybe normal is the only choice I have. Maybe I will just have to accept my mediocre self and surrender to leading a mediocre everyday existence. But I will fight it. Whatever happens, I will oppose this man to the bitter end. We seem to be approaching the heart of our discussion. The young man's pulses are racing, and despite the wintry chill in the air, his clenched fists shone with sweat. Should we put a bookmark here? Are we all happy? There's enough to absorb this week. Just click on the three dots. The list of this. So if you go here, we are today at life is a series of moments. Now, perhaps in the next two sittings, this book will complete and we will find the courage to be disliked. The next book we are reading is The Courage to be Happy, which is a sequel to the book. That too is a conversation between the youth and philosopher, continued. So once you have the courage to be disliked, you will obviously find the courage to be happy. And this whole exercise of the masterclass was the quest for happiness. And that's why, as we have read along, I have today created the page on the website and calling the masterclass as where we are today. So thank you all. If you want to add something here where we are leaving, please do. We put a bookmark. Please take a screenshot and add to WhatsApp. Got it? You got the screenshot? Khushi, anything you want to add? Any reflection? You want to unmute and talk?
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
So, all the time I was listening to all the educators and all the people here talking about the book. I was also thinking some of the points like when we were discussing about children and like how they seek attention. So, as Harshita said that it's just like it's just a system that some people has that some people not, and just like uh, Gurdeep ma'am said, ke like it's just like the system, it's just like the how the system works. So yeah, I agree with that. And yeah, we don't seek attention, we kind of want just want like people to just say that we matter, that's all. And yeah.
That's the voice of the young person. So young person always wants to be heard. And this is the crucial lesson we take away as teachers, that students just want to be heard sometimes. They're not really seeking attention, but they want to be heard. So do hear them out. It's an important message we are getting from a student. Vasundhara ma'am, Khushi is in class 8. So if you have some young student who wants to read, they can sign up for the program also. It's a very interesting program. So you're most welcome to add. We just want to have 20, 25 people. We already have 18. So our scope of getting more people is limited. Then we can't do justice. It's like you make a class of 100 people. Then you can't have a meeting. Don't get a chance to speak also in that class. What's the use of that class? And then Khushi is challenged. Hear me out won't happen. So we've heard Harshita. Kunal, you want to add something? Okay. Thank you. So 2 points we close today. One, we want to be heard. And second, there should be a feeling of contribution. So if you have a feeling of contribution, you'll obviously be happy, whether you are recognized or not. So what the philosopher is really saying is that your feeling of contribution, your joy of giving is yours. It's not the other person's. Now, if the other person doesn't take, don't feel dejected. Continue giving. That's the true joy of giving. So thank you everyone for giving so much. Thank you for giving us a chance to be with you. Bless you all. Have a great Sunday. If someone's reading tomorrow, the details are there in My Good School. Please pop right in. Tomorrow's my day for joy of giving. It takes me Sunday to write the whole weekly. So hopefully I try and capture what's happened in different forums and try and put it together. And just for your information, the weekly takes 6 to 8 hours to do. To go to every session, play the video, listen to it, get the content, run it through AI, correct the AI, edit it, put it there, put it in the respective blog. It's been done. Some people are doing it themselves, but I still end up seeing it once. There are about 6, 7 of us who write, but the last word comes to the editor because the editor is accountable and answerable. So if there is some flaw in our content or recording, obviously the editor will be hard. So we have many blog writers. Thank you to all of them. If you'd like to be one, you can be one too. Some of us have access, others can ask for it. Thank you for your time and thank you for your contribution.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Vasundhara, you want to say something?